Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas. Just want to, we're the crack staff of Santa Rosa Week TV. We also deserve a break from time to time. So if you're watching this now, we want you to know we're going to run this show again next week. This show, of course, is going to air the first time on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And we expect you will be full of tryptophan and pecan pie, and but we just wanted, Santa Rosa Week TV. We want to wish you a very Merry Christmas, and I would like to point out, Deborah, that on Santa Rosa Week TV,
yeah,
it's Merry Christmas over here.
Okay.
It's not Happy Holidays. It's not Hope your family's doing well. It's Merry Christmas over here.
But
Important distinction.
Nobody had really suggested otherwise.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Didn't we decide the war on Christmas is kind of
it does seem like it died down a little bit, but let me assure you that at each purchase that I made, I told the employee Merry Christmas, and I got all Merry Christmases back. Mm-hmm. At a point in time I don't get a Merry Christmas from a merchant, is I'll just hold up the line while I return my merchandise.
See, I guess I'm one of those people that, for whom part of being in the Christmas spirit is I don't feel the need to test the local merchants to see what their reaction to Merry Christmas is. That's just me.
You have to draw the line somewhere, Deborah.
I'm sure you do.
You have to draw the line somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And my line in the sand is there are many, many people who are lined up to take money from me.
Uh-huh.
And I will do businesses with like-minded people. And as an American citizen, I have that choice. Can
I just interject and remind you that if I'm not mistaken, it's still in the Guinness Book of World Records that Santa Rosa County has the most churches per capita.
All right.
I mean, do you really think you're going to run into that kind of thing?
Absolutely. There are U.S.-wide corporations that potentially could have that have businesses in Santa Rosa County. And you look, no harm, no foul. Return my Merry Christmas, and I leave happy with my sack full of merchandise. Don't return my Merry Christmas, and you can keep it.
Oh, gosh.
That's just how it's going to be. Plain and simple.
It's the spirit of the season.
Well, it is. Deborah, you can't lay down on everything and just let the bad folks take it off.
I hear you. All
right, the whole reason we're in such a bind at the federal and the state and the county level right now is because evil prevails when good men do nothing. All right. The reason for the season is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, and it's Merry Christmas.
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying if you drive through my neighborhood alone, I think I have at least 5 neighbors who have Bible verses on signs on their lawn.
That's good.
I just don't think that's an issue in this area at this point in time.
I applaud them, and I'm the guy that's going to keep checking that.
Okay.
And when a merchant in when a merchant in Santa Rosa County doesn't return a Merry Christmas, I'll use this TV show along with letters to the editor to let my friends, neighbors, and relatives be made aware of their non-celebration of the use of the word Merry Christmas. Some obviously, as you think it's a little silly, it's not silly to me. It's Merry Christmas. It's not Happy Holidays. It's Merry Christmas.
Well, I'm glad you're keeping busy.
Well, there's a lot of ground to cover, but somebody's got to do it. I saw this story. This actually occurred in Okaloosa County. And it's another thing that is a very sore subject with me. And I'm happy to see that in Mary Esther, Florida, law enforcement officers took action. Apparently there was a 16-year-old in the mall with his underwear pulled up to waist level, with his belt line underneath the cheeks of his rear end. And many of the shop owners had voiced a complaint about that. Many of the shoppers had voiced a complaint. And apparently it escalated through mall security all the way to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department. At which time the little jerk got handcuffed and carted off for indecent exposure. And I just want to give a big salute to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department. You did the right thing. Hope you do it more often. I don't, me or anybody else, it's not a style.
Right.
You know, if you want your rear end to hang out, go to a nudist colony,
right.
Go someplace where that stupid behavior is acceptable.
Well, the point of it is to annoy people and get attention.
Well, he got attention.
Obviously, that worked.
He got the right kind of attention. And just as one would suspect, when the officers got near him, according to the story, the explicatives began to fly, and he showed his true colors. And why are you picking on me? You know, well, he needed to be picked on. Once again, Okaloosa County, good job. Folks need to wear their pants, their belt and their pants need to be around their waist. I don't need to see their rear end, any part of it. This is a society. We need to have an ordered society. And I just don't think we need to mess with it.
Well, obviously, I think justice was served.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.
We can all rest a little bit easier.
One other thing, I about a minute and a half here, Deborah, and I've touched on this subject before.
Uh-huh.
I'm about to touch on it again.
Okay, go ahead.
Dear City of Milton, dear Mayor Guy Thompson, dear City Council members, you have decided once again to install, as far as I'm concerned, illegal red light cameras in the City of Milton. Over and over and over, there's not one study that I have seen so far that shows that it has reduced in traffic issues. Although I have seen several studies who say that with the implementation of red light cameras, you cause many, many tragic, unnecessary accidents at intersections because of them. They are simply 100% a money generator for every place that they're installed. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Let's see, Deborah, let's see. 2012, there's an election, I believe.
I believe so.
Folks, residents, folks who live in the City of Milton, if they leave these red cameras up, I'll be looking for some candidates to replace city council members in the City of Milton who think that this is a good idea. City of Gulf Breeze doing the same thing. I'm very shameful of them. I will say the same thing to our friends that watch this TV show from the City of Gulf Breeze. There's an election in 2012. If you want to run for city council, you get in touch with me. I'll get out and work door to door for you, and I'll show you how to work it. Okay? This is ridiculous. It is absolutely a joke. And on top of that, typically the cities get 40% or less of the revenue.
Yeah, they don't get a good
It's a
deal
nameless, faceless third-party company that gets all the money.
On it. That's
It's ridiculous. But once again, to the City of Milton, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You got a police force. Put them out there and let them write a few tickets. I'm not opposed to writing tickets.
Well, the police force they need to make sure nobody's pants are falling down around their ankles.
Yeah, okay.
Down at the toy store.
That's enough of that. Folks, as Deborah is the president of the League of Women Voters, we're going to dedicate the rest of this show. The legislative delegation
This was when the legislative delegation came about a week ago. I made a presentation. I mentioned some options as far as raising extra revenues because they're $3 billion in the hole. So I gave them a couple of suggestions. These are options that are out there. I wasn't actually advocating, but I did give them some suggestions.
Right.
And I think that Senator Gaetz was offended.
Apparently he was offended. Best Boy and I, we took odds on the fight. We think he got the best of you, but
yeah. So you think he had, and I think I'm just pleased I got to make my points.
Well,
I'm pleased. Nobody may agree with them, but at least I got to make them.
The important thing is, unlike the musical folks, the arts folks at the last legislative delegation, even though we had a place marker on their agenda, was not invited to speak.
Right, that's true.
At least you got an opportunity
this
to
time.
speak.
This time.
That's right.
Well, what I'll say is the point that I was making was that they cut taxes for the very wealthy. They got rid of this intangibles tax that only the very wealthy pay. Now they're in the hole. The next step is that they start canceling services like schools. I mean, basic services, education.
Yep.
You know, roads. We've already seen some, at least one road, Alligator Alley, that
Right.
Was up for being sold off to foreign interests and tolled, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, we've got to do something.
They're not raising. They've cut taxes so much. They've got so many corporations that make huge profits. They report them offshore, so they don't pay any taxes on that. They're making millions. They're using you know infrastructure that we pay for, like for instance a cruise ship that docks down there. We're paying for that port infrastructure, and then they're offshoring all the profits, et cetera, et cetera. So this is billions and billions that they're getting away with not paying. We're going to end up losing the services, and these were some suggestions to not hurt the middle class, and yet raise some of the revenues. And he got offended by that.
You certainly gave them some options, and I'm proud of you.
Well, I had a good time. I had a good time there.
Well, folks, we hope that you enjoy the Christmas holiday.
And let me just add one more thing.
Said, look, she's
Let me just
fired
add
up,
one more thing.
folks.
And I think what got me the most is after I sat down, and he was upset and disagreed with everything, told me, take this back to the League of Women Voters. A guy got up from the school, so Gulf Breeze Middle School, and said, we're good Republicans down there. We're good conservatives. We've done we've done everything we're supposed to, and we're scared because it looks like you're fixing to really come down hard on the schools. And we get good grades.
Right.
We're a great school district. Good test scores, et cetera, et cetera. All this stuff we've been playing by the rules, and we're still going to get it. And this is the lesson. This is a lesson. Is they've turned first that they turn on the welfare and all these people, and we'll pull those services. That's never enough. There's always somebody else that wants something more. Now we're seeing them turn on their supporters. We're seeing them turn on the schools and really
Prison system.
basic services. And now these people are starting to realize, hey, these people aren't so. This privatization, this trickle down stuff is really actually starting to kick me in the rear end.
Right.
And that's a lesson that I hope that people will take away from that.
Well, you did very well. You stood your ground. I was impressed.
I did what I could.
And so there you go. Folks, enjoy the Christmas time. Enjoy your family. Remember everything that's precious to you, and we hope you have a great holidays, a few days that you're going to get now. And so I'm Jerry Cook.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Merry Christmas.
The League certainly views a healthy and adequately funded government as a vital part of any democratic system that successfully serves the public. The League supports progressive taxing structures that distribute tax responsibilities fairly throughout the population. With Florida facing a $3.5 billion shortfall, I would just remind you that there are revenue options that exist that would close that gap without unduly burdening middle-class families, who are the backbone of Florida's workforce. Regressive taxes like gas and sales taxes disproportionately impact middle-class and poor residents. As the Florida Center for Fiscal and Economic Policy points out, by depending on consumption taxes, with many exemptions and exclusions to the extent that Florida's system does, the tax burden in Florida has been shifted sharply to lower income persons who spend a much larger portion, in fact, of their income on taxable items than do more wealthy individuals. While it's difficult to have a progressive tax system without levying an income tax, and I don't think anybody wants an income tax,